Hello, my Lean and LinkedIn friends. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to another fun edition of Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches. I'm so excited to be here with you today, and it's another fun Tuesday. And as always, we're here to really have conversations with lean coaches. We're not very complicated. It's titled appropriately. We're going to be talking to a good friend of mine who I've gotten to know over the past few months. But this space is really created for lean coaches to come in and share their challenges because often we have problems. We're problem solvers, but we also have problems ourselves. And having a space to be able to come, a safe space to be able to come and share those challenges and um, be able to know that it's a safe space to be. And so I just wanted to create that space for folks to be able to come in and feel a safe space. So with all that said, I've got, like I said, a fantastic fellow lean coach and practitioner. And we've gotten to know each other over the past few months in conversation. And I'm glad to have him here today. Courtney Jeffrey, thank you for being here today, my friend. And of course, if you are here from wherever you are from, please drop into the comments and share where you're calling in from and what's brought you here today. But Courtney, as always, it's good to have you, my friend. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Thrilled to be on with you, Sam. Appreciate the work that you're doing to help spread the message of lean. And so excited to be on with you here today.
Cool. Well, hey, for those that don't know you, Courtney, and I don't know why they wouldn't or aren't connected to you, of course, we're encouraging them to connect with you on LinkedIn. But tell folks what you are up to these days. Like, just what has got you into the world of lean and what you're passionate about. Give us kind of the the Cliff's Notes version, if you will.
Sure, I'll try to be quick. I've been working in uh, process improvement for probably the last 6 years. My former employer, and then recently moving to Humana, as well as just in my own personal kind of space, trying to expand and build on consulting with a new venture we have called Leaniverse. So I'm very excited about that and excited to just continue to get to sharpen my skills, as it were, with regard to lean.
Well, that's awesome. You're doing it both within an organization and then going on that entrepreneurial road, which many who are with us today are familiar with. And it is an interesting and unique journey. But I'm curious to know for you, as you are on this journey right now in the space you're in, what are you finding is like what's on your mind? What are you finding that you're thinking about a lot lately with your journey?
Well, just to spread competence, to help people to realize that this is a helpful lean is a helpful tool that you can use for problem solving. You mentioned early in your introduction there how we're all problem solving enthusiasts, right? And anybody that's gotten into lean, I think, kind of has that in their nature, that they want to solve problems, right? And this is something that you come across that says, hey, here's a methodology behind how you do it. So just that, to continue to spread that to people and to put the tools into people's uh, purview that can help them to solve problems.
Yeah, that's that's who we are, isn't it? Right? We
Mhm.
see challenges that are around, and we want to make life better for people. Which is the beautiful thing that I love about people like yourself and all of us in the community is that we really are about helping people.
Mm.
It's not just making a line better or making a program better. It's about helping people and empowering them. Um, as you're, looking forward on your journey, what's kind of the you had mentioned that you have this, you've kind of gone down this entrepreneurial path. What's the dream for you with that? Well, what do you want that to become?
Well, I want it to become as big as it can be, obviously, and to reach not just for monetary gain or anything like that. Of course, you want to be compensated for what you do, but more to spread the message of process improvement and lean principles. Me and you have talked about it before. I think American business is broken because it's
Mm,
all about just a scarcity mindset and not looking to help and provide value for the fellow man. And so I talked about it again in our personal conversations with you is I want to provide value for those that I'm working together with. And it all goes back to respect for people, right? And being able to spread that message. So that's a big focus for me. And I have a partner in my business. We both have talked about that many times that we're not providing value to our customers with what we're doing, and there's no point in doing what you do.
yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think we as lean practitioners, lean entrepreneurs, I think sometimes we lose sight of that because we're either so excited about it, or if we're honest, sometimes we're full of ourselves and how awesome we are at solving problems. But when you pause and then you turn it back around and focus on the customer, that's really what we're here for, is adding value to the customer, hearing the customer, voice of the customer, and then making sure that the whatever product is is offering value to them. Like what would be like what would be awesome like for this service, this platform that you're creating? Like, what would you love to see happen? I don't know, down the road in your kind of like your dreams. What have you been like? Oh man, this would be so cool if it did this.
Well, it's probably just the users, and we want to focus heavily on education and providing an educational platform. So, if we have X amount of users that are utilizing this platform up there in the higher numbers, then that would be great. That helps you to know, of course, that you're impacting people. But even further than that, being able to see those people that you're connecting with in any kind of consulting form to be able to become competent in that area. That's
Yeah.
what success looks like to me. So I just want to know that the people that are using the product that we're putting out are benefiting from it, and there that goes back to that value piece again. But yeah, that to me is simple as that. Just to be able to see people being confident um, with lean principles.
What are you because I know there are folks that are watching now or going to watch later who might be thinking about, starting their own business and stuff. What are the you know, pieces that you're finding are most like challenging or the pain points for you right now as you're going down this path? Because I think I feel like too often on LinkedIn and other platforms, kind of this journey is like can be glamorized,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm curious to know for you, if you're keeping it real, what are the pain points for you that aren't that people wouldn't see if they were like on Instagram and all over the place on LinkedIn?
Right. So yeah, the one of the biggest pain points is to become known, right? You've got a lot of people out there that are doing consulting and lean consulting. And I don't again, you and I in our personal conversations have talked about it. I think there's enough need for process improvement out there that hey, we're all in together at this. It's not there's competition, of course, but I'm happy to see anybody doing well in this space, but it's hard to make a name for yourself and to be known as someone that is competent, that does provide value in what you're bringing to the table. So building that brand, I think, is a slow process, and it takes time and intention. Right? You have to stay with it. You have to believe in the product that you're putting out there and to be consistent with staying after it. A lot of people lose attention after a short amount of time if they're not seeing the success they want to see.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. It's the days where I was I posted something the other day talking about something I forget that, but essentially, some of the folks who had chimed in were like the struggle of the visibility right now on, especially on LinkedIn and the platform, is definitely a challenge because of the reach and whatnot. So how do you stay positive? How do you keep going? How do you stay consistent? Um, what do you think for you within that is the challenge of the marketing, like, that you're struggling with the most?
So I think it's a lot around how much do you put into this cost wise, right? There's a lot of things
Yeah.
monetarily you can do to jump up your your voice and your reach really quickly, but everyone doesn't have that amount of money to do that. So how do you find that balance between being creative, and using what's out there? The internet is a huge place, right? And there's a lot of ways you can leverage to go about building your brand. So how do you figure those things out, right? Or how do you, if you need to, how do you find the capital and the amount of money you need to put into building your brand that way? But yeah, there's a lot of challenges in building a brand in those ways.
Yeah, I was watching. What was I seeing? I'm on YouTube quite often, probably far more often than I should be, especially with the shorts and whatnot. But I was watching. I watch a lot of creators
Mhm.
who are talking about just the process of creation and some of these things we're talking about, and how I was watching this video on how you can basically buy views on your videos,
Yeah.
right? And so it's amazing. Like you said, you could put so much money on that just to have numbers, right, that look like, oh, you are popular, like you have something. I think what we're all obviously as entrepreneurs, like, you have something valuable to say, more people will come. It's
Hmm.
like that whole idea of, you go to the coffee shop and you see like money in the tip jar, you're like more than likely to put money in,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So it's an interesting proposition, right? Would you put money in to get more views, right? Or would you put money in to get more, I don't know, what is it, SEO, so that people will see, have more visibility into your product or service? What sorts of things have you been trying to navigate this like challenge with the marketing
Well,
space, the
yeah. So
money and all that?
yeah, absolutely. We've done a little bit, and it's easier when you're full time going at something. And I would
Yeah, yeah,
advise people if you're doing this to just step all the way into it. My mentor and Lean even said that his consulting business took off when he just completely quit his job and he stepped completely into it. And for me, that's not the way I've chosen to kind of go about it. I balance the two. But if you don't have that amount of time, there are just different things you can try. And we've been writing articles online. We've been doing a little bit of, or particularly on LinkedIn, we've been doing posts that kind of give some information regarding lean, little helpful tips and things like that. So that was pretty successful when we were doing it and putting a lot of time and attention into it. Now, of course, we're trying to balance the work life with that. So that's one of the ways. There's a bunch of other things that you can do, and just getting your name and your voice out there. Podcasts and live streams like you're doing, I think, is another good one to kind of get people to see you and to know that you're out there. But yeah, I think whatever it is you do, it's the time and intention that's most important.
yeah. And I think you know yeah, the focus, the time, the attention. Something that you said there caught my eye about, or caught my ear about, um trying to think of what you said there, but it is the man, I got lost my thoughts there. Matt had said here, talking about making your consultancy different from others, right? Distinguishing, and um, the cream always rises to the top. Absolutely right. If you're adding value, then eventually people will find you, right? If you're there consistently and offering something of value. So I think that that's important. I was wondering, as you obviously you've invested time with your partner in this, and you've got awareness of the things that are important in being able to move forward. Do you have something, I don't know, like maybe in the next like 3 months of where you'd like to be in particular with the business? Have you set some maybe like short-term goal? I'm just curious to know, like.
So our short term is a little longer than your 3 month window there. But at the end of a year, so we started out really focusing in on it in probably in June. We had done a lot of work with it before then, but really putting hard effort into it then. So turning around a year from then, we want to see this thing fully rolling as far as the educational piece to it, and then expanding out with regard to the other offerings that will be there. So be looking. Those are kind of our short term goals, and we'll certainly be advertising on LinkedIn. And then longer term, you didn't ask me this, but I want to add that to it as well, is to kind of look for partnerships and people that we can partner together with, like my good friend Sam here, that we can help out and they can help us out and that kind of thing. So very excited about what the future holds.
So like if you were to take that year goal, and you were to break it down like into, and I don't know what your kind of routine is, but if you were to break that down into some like smaller goals, like you said you started in June, I guess we're in like approaching the end of August. Holy cow. Like, is there anything in, maybe in the next month or so that'll help you move forward more towards that bigger year goal?
Absolutely. So the shorter term with that would be rolling out completed curriculum, so that when we get to that end goal of having that platform launch, this is one of the pieces to that. So we've been
Yeah.
curating and writing behind the scenes. This is kind of our main focus, and why we probably haven't been publishing as much on LinkedIn, as we're working pretty hard behind the scenes at some of the curriculum we're in a rollout. So yeah, that's a bigger part of the short term goals.
Do you have anything with, like, as you're writing the curriculum, any challenges that you're finding with that, and being able to, like, because obviously you're talking about, you've got like the product or service and marketing and doing all that, but then you also have to create the the product that's going to add value. Are you finding anything with that that's challenging?
Yeah, it's the biggest challenge for us is we're not teachers, right? We're coaches in lean, but I've not taught adults in other spaces. I've simply coached in lean. So what we did to kind of address that challenge is to get together with some learning and development people that we know, and they've lent us some good feedback as to what might be good to communicate our message better. So a lot of that has been really helpful to meet that challenge.
Nice, nice. What sorts of actions, like what sorts of things are you doing, like on a weekly basis or a daily basis, that are like moving you forward with that?
I think it's just setting goals that we're going to review this amount of information by this time. Is the ultimate goal, right? Is to have this completed curriculum ready to roll,
Yep.
and find a platform to put it on. So, as you know, with lean, you got to set, and you're kind of voicing it here, these digestible kind of goals. So we want to review this much information by this date, and then this much information by this date, till we've done the whole thing, and we're confident that it's good information to roll out as far as curriculum that people can utilize.
Yeah, I mean that's it, right? Setting those digestible goals, and then making it something that's valuable to the customer. right, in the end, of
Absolutely.
course. And it's good that you've had some people in the learning and development that can give you some kind of context and frames that are going to make it valuable to them, right? You can have a whole bunch of good information, but if it's not like if it's not put in a meaningful way, it's not going to add any value to
Right.
them.
Well,
um
and adults learn differently, right? There's all kinds of different ways that people learn, and you have to make sure that you've accounted for all of those. It might communicate well to you, but does it communicate well to all of the people that are going to be benefiting from it?
Well, I'm wondering, like, one of the things that you and I in our previous conversation had talked about, being on the entrepreneurial path, it's certainly not one that doesn't have its, like, bumps, but it's also one that you can't just plan every step of the way. So I'm wondering for you, what are some of those, like, challenges that you have with, navigating, um, kind of that part, the uncertainty and not having all the steps planned out?
Well, I mean, there's nothing that you can completely account for, right, Sam? I mean, you just said it there. And as process improvement people, you have to have the mindset of continuous improvement. So you're knowing that things are going to pop up, especially technology and the way that this is changing so quickly, right? And the way that people digest information is always changing. So you have to keep those things in mind as this is a continual thing, right? We're going to have to come back at different intervals, review what we're putting out there, and make sure it fits for the customers the best.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What do you find, like, with that? Do you find that there's any challenges for you being able to navigate that, not having all the steps planned out in front of you? I know I say this because we, as, like, improvement lean folks, that can be, like, in my experience, that's one of the harder pieces because in fact, I was just thinking about this morning. I was rolling around in bed and thinking about my day, and even this conversations that I have today, and like, oh well, if I can just plan it out, but that doesn't help, because when you get into the space, anything could happen. So I'm wondering for you, do you have any challenges, like, with that? Similar, I guess, or otherwise?
Yeah, I think we haven't gone far enough to probably meet them yet, but I'm not ignorant to know that they're going to be out there as you start rolling things out. And it's just having, to me, I look for identifications of problems always, of course, but being agile to be able to make to alter your plan. Don't have anything so set in stone that if some X happens, which X is going to happen,
Yeah.
you can adjust to it. So I think you can have a big layout, right, of the larger model of what you want something to look like, but you
Yeah.
understand that it might not happen exactly the way that you foresee it happen.
Yeah, yeah, being able to navigate that, right? You have the big picture, but then also, like we talked about before, like having those smaller goals in front of you to be able to help you move forward because um yeah, you can't know what's going to be like tomorrow. So you got to have that, like you said, the agile mindset to be able to approach that. I'm wondering for you in these last couple of minutes, as you're thinking about moving forward in any of these challenges that you've named, what's one thing that would be helpful for you to do maybe in the next day or two to help you move forward towards or through any of those challenges that you've named?
Um, in the next day or so, that's I was not prepared for that question, Sam. That's a um, well, I mean, I have weekly goals, and so as we look at those weekly goals, you can digest those down into the daily, I suppose. So it's just for us right now, like I said, it's making sure we're doing a certain set amount of work per week,
That's
um,
cool.
and so there are a lot of distractions that come along. I'm a
Yeah.
father. I have my regular job. I have all kinds of things I'm involved in outside of work. And so I would say it's just making sure daily that you're allocating the right time toward everything and carving out time also to be able to meet the challenges that are there business wise.
How do you carve that out here in just like a minute? How do you carve that? Because it sounds like that can be a challenge. So how do you make sure that you have that time that you need? That's like, whatever it is, 30 minutes in data or whatever it is, so that like you spend the 3 hours in the week. I don't know, whatever it is, so that you have the curriculum at the end of the year or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You better be organized, right? If you're going to enter into anything like this, family you can't neglect, right? If you neglect family, then that has its own problems. And so I think just scheduling and making sure that everything is fit into its place, right, is the best thing that I can see. And knowing on the calendar, I've got this thing that I need to do at this time, and being very disciplined about addressing and attacking that schedule in that manner.
That's cool. Well, I think folks can see from our conversation today that you're very passionate and you care about this space and wanting to help people. So, please get connected with Courtney and all the good stuff that he's doing. If you're not already, yeah, Courtney, it's always great to have a conversation with you. I'm curious from our chat today, what's the been the most valuable, or what's the takeaway for you from this?
The takeaway from for me, as always, with you, Sam, and other like minds, is that we're not alone out here. When I first started doing any kind of lean work, it registered with me so much because it's like I've told you this. It's like something I was looking for all my life, and here's my
Yes.
niche, right? So and then I found out further than that after working many years in this small space on my job. Hey, there are other people out there that are doing this kind of work and are passionate about it just like I am. So my takeaway is that I appreciate you and I honor you, Sam, for what you're doing. And for all of those out there that might have tuned in that are passionate about lean as well, I honor you as well. And we're all together in this fight to spread this methodology.
Well, I appreciate what you said throughout this, and I think that's the theme that I really, hope that we all can, like you said, we're not alone. But on the flip side, like there's more than enough for all of us, right? There's more, as one of my coaches would say, there's 7 billion people in this world, and they all have problems, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that his mission is to end suffering in the world. He isn't a lean coach, but he's a coach, and I think we as lean practitioners would probably echo that sentiment. Like we see so much suffering in, whether it's on the lines in the offices, at hospitals, wherever it is, we see suffering, and our goal as coaches is to help end that in whatever work we're doing. And to your point of not being alone, I've got these communities of folks, and if you're interested and you want that kind of community and support, please reach out. I've started a new one that'll kick off on Thursday. I got a couple more spots there. So please reach out. You're not alone. If you want a space where you can share those challenges and have some accountability and support, love to have you be a part. But Courtney, it's been beautiful. So thank you once again for being a part of this space. And again, like if you would like more information on the community, please shoot me a DM. Happy to have that conversation. And of course, y'all, thank you for being here today. If you're watching, if you've been here live, thank you so much. And we'll be back again next month for another fun half an hour with Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches. Have a great day, everybody. Be well.